Hello from Gardening at Douentza here in Ireland, and this is just an update on my orchids before I go away on holiday. This is going to be a bit of a mixed up orchid update because I'm going to include ones in flower, ones in spike, and just other ones that are here in the kitchen for watering day just because I feel like it and because I haven't done a proper orchid update in a while. But before we get started, I need to give you the latest update on the #GrowItForJosh project, the collaborative growing that we're doing here on this channel. And for anyone checking in for the first time, please do check the link up above to see what this is all about. Josh was my son, and we're growing various plants in various spots around the world in memory of him. And I have 5 people to tell you about today, and the first one I'm going to kick off with is Claire Sinclair from Bray in Ireland, a very dear friend of mine for many years, and she has been so supportive of me through thick and thin over, well, a long period of time. So thank you very much for that, Claire. And Claire recently contacted me to tell me that she wants to grow a fuchsia in memory of Josh. So you're going to see the picture of that right at the end. And a year or two ago on this channel we visited Claire's garden in Bray to have a look at what she has achieved in terms of the fantastic garden she has there in Bray, and I'm going to link to that video somewhere on this one. The second person I want to mention today growing something for Josh is also in Ireland, and it's Terry Shoe-Smith, who lives in Galway. And Terry and her husband recently planted a beautiful birch tree, Betula Jacomontii, with their grandchildren, and their grandchildren decorated with ribbons, hoping that Josh might like that and his mum might like it and it wouldn't make anybody sad. It was just lovely, touching photographs and such a lovely, wonderful thing to do. And the third person I want to mention today who's growing a plant for Josh is Priscilla Estefino, originally from Brazil but living in the UK. And Priscilla contacted me recently to say she was growing a wonderful grapevine for Josh, and she gets wine from it and grapes from it. Maybe she doesn't have wine, maybe I'm making that bit up. But how she manages to grow such a vigorous and beautiful grapevine in England, I don't know, but she does. And also what she has growing through the grapevine is a clematis, which she said reminded her of me. So the clematis is intertwined there with the grape, and I think that's just a lovely sentiment. Fourth on my list of people to mention today is Sharon Short, who is in Florida in the United States and has a channel, an orchid channel, a very experienced grower with a beautiful garden where she grows her orchids outdoors, and you really have to check out Sharon's channel. But Sharon is growing 2 plants, I believe, for Josh, one of which is an air plant, a tillandsia, that recently came into bud, and I'm linking to that video of Sharon's up above. And also she's growing some lilies for Josh. So you'll see both of these photos at the end of this video. And the last person I want to mention today who's growing something for Josh is another YouTuber. It's Bumblebee. And Bumblebee, who visited me recently, has recently sent through a photograph of her Phalanopsis equestris, which she says reminds her of a little pig, and she's growing in memory of Josh. So thanks a million, Bumblebee, and we'll link to that photo at the end too. And that brings me to the end of the Grow It for Josh updates for today. But if you want to grow something for Josh, please do let me know and send through a photograph, either by email, which you can get from looking at the About tab on my YouTube channel, or via my Facebook page. And the link to that is in the details in this video. Now, while people may send me through updates in the next few weeks, I'm not going to be able to make any updates on the Grow for Josh because I'm going to be away. But please do keep sending them in, and I'll catch up when I get home. And now we're on to the main bulk of the video, talking about orchids. Some in flower, some in spike, some just being in water today and therefore subject to this video. And in front of me we have 3 oncidiums I recently bought from Tesco's, which is a supermarket here, and most beautiful they are too. I'm not going to dwell on them for a very long time because I did that when I was giving you the update section. We had a good look at them. Beside them we have a new spike opening on the Latouria dendrobium, Wonder Nishi, and the flowers look so nice when they hang down. Now recently somebody asked me about the Latourias, and some people seem to be absolutely mad about them, and I can understand that because the flowers are so dangerous looking, aren't they? But a lot of them tend to be quite similar in terms of the ones I've grown anyway, so you know, I wouldn't be mad about growing a lot of different ones because there just seems to be too much overlap. Anyway, that's my tuppence worth on it. I'm sorry if it upsets anyone. So moving along here, we have a phal, a mini phal that my niece gave me, still in beautiful flower, and another Latouria dendrobium. This one is lutin blanc with 1 flower spike at the moment, and various other ones supposedly coming from these new growths, but we'll learn more about that in time. Up here we have Vanda Princess Macassar Blue, which has flowered, well, it seems to flower a couple of times a year for me in Ireland, so I think this is a really good Vanda to get if you're growing them in less than ideal conditions, which is what I'm doing, because it just keeps on giving. Fantastic. Upstairs, and I mean upstairs on the shelving, I've just stood on a chair here, we can see Prostecia cochleata, and it has several flower spikes. Quite a healthy looking plant, looking like it needs potting on yet again. Doing quite well. And now we're just going down on that shelf where we see my Erengis citrata. Now this is sending up another flower spike, which is good news, but there's something up with the plant. There seems to be some rot in the crown, and I think this spike is a swan song. So in any case, if this plant does succumb to rots, I will buy it again because it is a lovely little one. Beside it we have the blue cattleya, this one here, which is sending out lots and lots and lots of roots. It's in one of these aerial pots, and as I showed earlier, my cattleyas do seem to love them. I've just moved over to the right here to show you this Paphiopedilum Pinocchio, which is bobbing away because I've just knocked the spikes. We've got 3 spikes and another one down there, and I've decided to just let it do what it will. It's doing really well. And just behind it is the Zygopetalum I got from Bjorn in Germany a while ago, which is sending up a new growth and seems to be doing quite well. Now this had been grown in waterculture or semi-waterculture by Bjorn in Germany, and I planted it in bark, but it seems to be doing quite well. So no sign of a spike yet, but it's doing fine. Now we've moved over to the kitchen floor where all of these orchids are lined up waiting to be watered, and this is a kind of selective video about orchids. As I mentioned before, it's really just what it's handy to show and what it's interesting to show. And these are mixed orchids that normally live in my plant room on a humidity tray by a south-facing window, although there are several layers on that window, so some of them are quite far back from the window. What will I show you? This giant that I showed earlier on in the year had spikes. It's a I can't get that label out. No, I can't. Here. This one here. Now it seemed to make 3 flower spikes, but all of which have shriveled up and died. I think Track in the States, who has a channel, was saying he had had the same experience with his plant, so I don't know what it is. Is it insufficient light or what? But I don't seem to be able to get any flowers out of this one. And it's an enormous plant, now sending out new growths and all kinds of everything right over the side of the pot. So I'm just panning through here looking for some point of interest to stop at. I don't think there are any here in spike in this lot here. Here we have my Laelia anceps, which I divided when I got it maybe 2 years ago. It's certainly sending up new growths, but no sign of a spike. I think it's the wrong time of year for it anyway. Just while I look over here, I do see that one of my phals is sending out a secondary spike there. There we go. This is the Baldwin's kaleidoscope, as I recall, my first and oldest phal. And moving over, we also have Cattleya forbazii, which aborted its last. Well, I seem to get some rot in the axil with this one last time, but it's making a new growth, so I will be hopeful that that'll produce. Here's another phal with a spike, this time from the base, and this is the peachy one that I bought some time ago. I hope to put the name in the details of this video. Hope is the operative word. And here is the blighted Rebecca Fox, or Francis Fox, that Zane just lost in his last video. And this one came from Germany, from Schwerter, but it really has not done so amazingly for me. The new growths are smaller than the previous ones, and yeah, I don't know, just not doing really impressively. I have a theory. I wonder, have we in Europe received a weaker strain of this particular plant? Now, I had this one on my wish list for a couple of years before I actually managed to source it, and at that time a glut of them suddenly appeared in Europe. Now, when I'd been looking for it, anybody I managed to track down who'd managed to buy it had lost theirs to a bacterial rot or to something or other. So I wonder, yeah, just speculating here. Now we've moved over to the sink, and I did tell you this is a kind of schematic orchid update, and we've jumped to a Rodriguezia that I have hanging up here by the sink. And last time I did an update, I talked about this flower spike with its amazing spurs, and this would seem to be a very long-lasting orchid. That spike has lasted a very long time, and look what we have. A second spike pushing out. So it certainly is one for longevity, and that's definitely in this plant's favour. Now, I did mention I couldn't get a scent out of it, but when Bumblebee was here, she had a good sniff, and she's got a very good nose, you know. And she said it reminded her of something unusual. Now, I think she said it reminded her of vanilla, but maybe if she sees this video, she'll put a little note down the end that you can all check out as to what this orchid smells like if you have a good nose like she does. So that's Rodriguezia liana. Definitely worth growing. And look what I've just discovered on my gongora. Now, this has been repotted since you saw it last into a pot with holes in pure sphagnum. Now, some people say you shouldn't put it in a hot pot with holes because it needs a lot of moisture. But my friend Liga, whose channel you probably know, has done like that and has had fantastic results. I think she got 7 new growths this year. So I decided to follow suit. And what do I see but some spikes? One. Now, this isn't going to be directly as a result of the repotting. It can't have hindered. 2. And then I saw a third one somewhere. Ah, yes. See that one there? 3. And now I want to give you an update on my broughtonia. Can you see that spike there? That's the smallest of my 2 spikes. Now, I bought a number of orchids from MSN in Germany in February this year,
and broughtonia was among them. The reason why I went with that particular vendor was that they stocked broughtonia, and I was looking for broughtonia. And well, anyway, there was a bit of a mix-up with the labels, which they have recompensed me for. But I think what I have is two types of broughtonia here, a negrolescens and the pink one, sanguinea. And this would be the pink one, sanguinea, but we shall see when it opens. Now, these spikes do take a very, very long time to elongate. That's the plant on a mount, as you can see. Very nice. This plant, this genesis in the Cattleya alliance takes very good light, south-facing in my case, south-facing window in my case, and needs to dry out completely between waterings. So this being on a mount gets watered every other day, and despite the fact that the root tips are never nice and bright and green, it seems to be doing okay. Now, can you see the other one there, the other broughtonia? And now we're looking at the second of my broughtonias, the negrolescens one, or supposedly the negrolescens one. Hopefully with a bit of luck, even if they're mismarked, they'll be different from each other. And that's what the plant looks like with its roots. That would appear to be less than ideal, but do you see that funny thing waving it around down there? Let me show you the spike. It's really, really difficult. Anyway, there we go. Turning, turning, turning. Okay. Now, there were originally 2 more buds on this spike, but they blasted, which I put down to the window next to it being opened, but I'm not altogether sure. Those buds look pinky to me, so I wonder, is this actually the sanguinea one? Anyway, how many buds do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 buds. That's very good for a start, I'd say. And I think they're going to open soon. In fact, they're probably going to open while I'm away. So, yeah, isn't it just sod's law? And I'm going to end up with just a little pan up the windowsill. This here is the Dimorphorcus that I got from John Greco in Barcelona. It seems to be doing well. I think I probably need to repot it as the roots are coming out the bottom. This is the cattleya, which, well, it's doing what it wants via the holes and moving along. Some cattleyas I got just before Christmas from Anita, thank you very much. And ending with the phrags, some of which recently had the bleach treatment and have survived it well. Okay, that's it. That's the end of my video. I hope you liked it, and I hope you'll check back again for lots more orchid fun. Bye now.